Alright guys, my name's Josh Carmack. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. This is Christmas Day of 2012. I was originally going to post a video review of the Grizzly G0694 woodworking lathe on Good Friday. Well, I say it was on Good Friday, it's been the day after. We went and picked this lathe up Good Friday 2012, and like any kid with a new toy, I was as excited about it and as happy as I could be. And you know, when you get a brand new toy, you can't find anything wrong with it. And I'm glad that I procrastinated about putting that video up. I'd actually already made the video. I've had a couple issues come up since then that I'm glad, which is what made me glad I waited to put that video up, because I'd like for, you know, the unbiased review to be put up versus one that is biased because of my happiness with a brand new wood lathe. Like I said, again, this is the Grizzly G0694. It is a 3 horsepower woodworking lathe. It's considered to be one of the competitors of the large class of wood lathes. It's got a 1 1/4 inch spindle, 8 threads to the inch. It's an inboard and outboard spindle. Right now I got the hand wheel on it, but you can take the hand wheel off. Right out of the box, this lathe was ready to run. The only thing we had to do was clean the Cosmoline off the bed. And the first thing I did, because I had seen one review of another Grizzly lathe, a smaller model than this one, the headstock and the tailstock were way out of alignment. And since that was an issue, I'd like to show the alignment of this one. Let me get this walnut blank off here. I'm going to show the alignment. Get the drive spur. Put back in there. I just ran them into each other, trying to be careful and not run them into each other, but I did. And that ought to show you. Now the tailstock is not tightened down, but Bubba, that's dead on. Let me tighten that down. Let me back it off. I don't want to. There we go. Okay, they're touching each other. Now this is after the lathe has been set up for about a month, a little less than a month. For woodworking, man, that's dead on. Talking points to the lathe. Again, now, I think that's the 5th time or maybe the 14th time I've said that. 20-inch swing over the bed, 16-inch swing over the tool rest, 43 inches between centers. That's with the drive spur and the live center in the lathe. It comes with a knockout tool to knock the drive spur out. I keep it mounted right here on the magnet. Now, it has 3 speed ranges. But anyway, so we got that knocked out of the way. We got 3 speed ranges on this lathe. They're listed at 100 to 1,000 RPM, 1,000 to 2,000 RPM, 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. Realistically, you can put it in the 3rd speed range, or 3rd gear as I like to call it, and run at any speed you want. You just won't have your full torque available. So if I'm turning something big, I'll run in the 1st gear. If I'm turning something small or medium, I'll run it in 3rd gear. I hardly ever use a 2nd belt step on it, but it's there if I need it. Put my key back up before I lose it. Let me measure it, because I don't always have it up here. We go to the handle. We go to the handle of the tool rest. We've got a 32-inch swing. If we go to the base of of the arm, we've got a 40-inch swing. We'll go to the lower, the arm mount, the tool rest arm mount. We've got a 41-inch swing. See, my memory was way off. 41-inch swing. Now, if you want to take the mount loose here from the side of the lathe, let's see what that would be. Kick the dust out of the way here and the shavings where I've made a big mess and hasn't cleaned up yet. Okay, if you have available to you a means of bolting a tool rest to the floor separate of the lathe, you could have a 90-inch swing on this lathe. If you had the lathe bolted to the floor, this lathe has a means of bolting it to the floor, which I have not done yet. I do intend to do. So we've covered the swing inside and out, inboard and outboard. We've got an outboard tool rest here. That's very rigid when tightened up. When not tight, it's a little flimsy looking. When you tighten everything down on it, it does rest on the floor. The pole goes all the way to the floor to transfer energy into the floor versus the case of the lathe here. Alright, so that's the talking points of the lathe. It's a Morse taper number 2, tailstock and headstock. Like I said, they provide a knockout bar for your drive spur. The way you remove the tailstock, let me turn you this way. Remove the tailstock taper simply by backing the tailstop up. You'll feel it hit a stop. You just keep turning it, and it'll back your taper right out for you. So this lathe is a 3 horsepower, 3-phase lathe that is powered from a single phase power source, and it accomplishes that through a variable speed drive or a variable frequency drive. And the spindle housing should have been 1 inch or 2 inches wider, been flush with the casting of the end of the lathe here. I'm sure if they did that, that may have raised the cost of the lathe, but I would have paid extra to have that. That's my only gripe per se in the design of the lathe. Now we're going to move on to gripes due to quality of the lathe. The steel used is of suitable quality. The cast iron is of suitable quality. The assembly of the lathe is what I was a little disappointed in. The guys that put this together in the factory over in Taiwan, I believe where this machine is assembled, they didn't tighten those set screws good. And that the threaded piece itself is threaded onto the spindle with smaller, finer threads, and that is what backed off. The collar out here, the lock collar and the faceplate did not back off while I was turning or while my dad was turning. The spindle threads themselves backed off of the spindle, and it all could have been avoided had the fella at the factory that assembled this machine assembled it properly and tightened his set screws properly. That is something I have not contacted Grizzly about. I am going to request that they send me a new spindle because it did damage the threads when it backed off. I don't know how long my dad ran with it backed off like that, but it did do some damage to the threads. I tightened it back up and tightened the set screws and have been using it ever since. Alright, my only other minor gripe I've got about the lathe is the paint has peeled on the shelf, on the footrest, if you want to call it that. That's where I put my feet when I'm sitting on my stool. But there's a little spot there where the paint's peeled. I'm not entirely sure that that's not my fault. It's possibly could have been caused by some penetrating oil I used to wipe the bed down with. But anyway, and it's quite possible that when I spilled some of that penetrating oil on the bed, that some of it spilled over onto that paint and loosened that paint up. Either way, whether it was paint that didn't adhere in the factory, or paint that was softened by a chemical that I used here in the shop, either way, Grizzly has sent me some touch-up paint to fix that. Overall, as far as build quality of this lathe, we're happy. Price, we couldn't be happier with the price. We got it on sale, Christmas special. But I think this lathe cost us $2,792. That included taxes included. We got about $2,800 into this lathe, and we're satisfied. We believe we got our money's worth. We believe we got a good piece of equipment for that price. And if I had it to do over again, I would definitely buy another one. Yeah, that's it. That's the Grizzly G0694. Cost us a little under $3,000. I couldn't be happier. I would buy another one, and we may buy another one. This one my dad actually paid for. It's here at my house. He has threatened to come and get it a couple times because he wants it. He wants to put it up in the shop he's got. The shop he's got is not really big enough. It's a wooden floor, and the floor is not really stout enough to hold a lathe of this size. It'll quite literally, the lathe this size will quite literally shake the whole shed. That's one reason why it's down here on my concrete. But if he does decide that he wants to come get it, I'll probably buy another one to replace it. And that's what's important to me when I want to find a review on a product, something somebody bought. My biggest concern is, would you buy it again? And my answer is yes, I would buy it again. So that's that. Y'all folks have a good day.